Hello, friends. It's Hank McGurk, your pajama scholar. And today I'm trying to cover a particularly difficult topic. And I'll do it the best I can with the bitterest of drinks. And we'll dive into the subject as we dive into the cups. And maybe we'll get there. Now, this is a particularly difficult subject, and we are discussing the fallen ones. Now, most specifically, we're discussing Lucifer. Now, there are 7 angels that you might be familiar with: Raphael, Michael, Uriel. If you look behind me, you will find all 7 of them. You'll also find something else if you can see it. Always a little extra detail for those that want to examine. And don't expect me to move quickly. I don't intend to. I'm going to need to take my time with this. Took me a long time to understand it, and I still don't fully understand it. It is, in a way, probably one of mankind's greatest challenges. And whether you want to observe Lucifer as an actual physical being or as a metaphor, what Lucifer represents is the last in the line of the 7 archangels. There always has to be a dividing line. Now, typically speaking, both angels and devils, demons are a little bit of a different story, but even they too. But angels and devils are bound because they have no free will. They act in strict accordance with their principles, which are what they are. It's where they are in the cosmology. It's what places them where they are. Now, Lucifer is, in my opinion, a very pitiable character. Because what he represents is that dividing line where the rebellion, the free will, an angel, one of God's most favored angels, with a power so strong it could rival almost that of even God. Because God so favored him. Now, why would God favor Lucifer? Out of the 7, archangels, why would Lucifer be the favored one, and why would he fall? And why would people on this plane confuse Lucifer as being on this plane? Now I'm being a little bit cryptic because it's difficult for me to explain. It's quite a challenge, in fact, because I don't want to misspeak and I don't want to misrepresent. We're dealing with some very potent forces here. On an unfavorable day. But this is why we act in submission in accordance to God's will. We do what we can as best we can. Even though we are men, we are not but flesh, and we are weak and apt to make many mistakes. We will do the best we can to serve God no matter what the circumstance. And this, interestingly enough, seems to have been Lucifer's greatest challenge, you see. Perhaps he was possessing of powers like God, but he was not God. And you would say, well, Lucifer is the light. Lucifer is the light bearer, the light bringer. He's the one that is good. Now, I believe you've heard before, the road to hell is paved with good intentions. And this is why first and foremost, the spiritual duty is to be humble before God and love God no matter what life brings. Now they call Lucifer, Delaney, please. I don't need my carpet scratched up right now. I tell you, you put too much cream in the coffee and it fattens the belly. It makes you weak. Sometimes the best brew is a bitter one. I've been adding a little bit of cream, fat cream, to my coffee. Give it a chemical change to make sure my teeth don't turn brown or something. Milk, like adding fat to the coffee. In truth, it's a bitter drink, an enjoyably bitter drink. Why do we drink it? For its caffeinating effects, a bit of stimulation. I mean, do we enjoy the bitterness of it? I do. I love the flavor of every drink, whether it be a glass of water, cool, or even room temperature. Clean water, bitter coffee, fatty brews, mead. I would not ordinarily do this. In fact, I don't really want to. But I said that I would, and I do believe that it is a clarification that needs to be made. Now, people go around all the time, and this was one of the things that I struggled with. I say, I'll know good when I see it. And I'll just go with what's good. If it looks good, it's probably good. And I'll do what's good. Now, doing what's good is not always right. Because you can't, as a human, you wouldn't know. You can never be sure. You can never be fully certain that what you have done, or will do, or are doing, is the right thing. You do the best you can. And it is a difficult thing just to do, to take the best path that you can, to do the right thing, to do the most moral thing, to pray and to be supplicant to God and appreciative for everything, to be in prayer and give thanks for everything. Now, I'm taking my time because the platitudes like Lucifer is the great deceiver. Well, that's true, but the 7 deadly sins, what's the 7th? What's the deadliest of all sins? Pride. The most insidious. Because it gets such an easy toehold. You're having a good time. You're doing what's right, and then follows a little conceit. And in that conceit, you can be deceived. And you ride the wave as you ride high. Now, before I bore you, let's take a look at an example. And we'll kind of analyze this as we go along. This, of course, is not to criticize or condemn. But what we have here is an amateur alchemist who is trying to teach a fellow, I can't call one a master, nor can I call the other an initiate. We just have 2 individuals speaking to one another. And it was through this examination that actually finally led me to understanding. Or at least enough of an understanding to be able to turn over what I did not know and will never fully understand and never fully master over to God, and finally became comfortable with that. Thank God. My prayer. I love God. And I'm grateful for the revelation. So let's examine this piece.
Of the flesh, that ain't changed.
We are the watchers, because we are the world. We are the ones that are down here, in the third, on the third, with the 3. Now, it makes perfect sense when you look at it that way, because if 333 is God thrice great, and it takes 3 within the 3 to create You know, I'm meaning that man is threefold in nature. Man has a spiritual side. Man has a uh, uh, mental side, or a physical side. And what's the last one, Jerry?
Heart, mind, body. Trying to think what.
Physical, spiritual, and mental, right?
Yes. But you're not divided. You are one. Now, definition is important. It's important to define things, to separate things, to organize things so we can better understand them. Let us press on.
And then within man, within them three are three, and three. You know, huh?
Mind, body, spirit.
Yes, the Holy Trinity, right? If we can descend, we can ascend. Very true.
If we can descend, we can ascend. Now, that is a very dangerous line of thinking. But in that rings a bit of truth. This is a Luciferian principle. Okay? This really kind of is the essence of Luciferianism. Because Lucifer was, or is, some would argue, the light bringer. He does all this good, okay? If you follow him, you don't have to go through the suffering. Why would God come to earth as a man, God in the flesh, Jesus Christ, and die on the cross? See, Lucifer, he would consider that God would be a cruel God. God would be a wicked God. What God would require that? What you must understand is that God came here and did that for you. So you could be saved through the blood of Jesus Christ. God is made manifest all around us, all the time. Way bigger than I can explain. And when you begin to look, the more you look, the more you'll see. But you have to search. And I can't, well, perhaps maybe I can help. I would like to explain. But I'm struggling. I'm struggling because this is very perhaps it's my own frame of mind. I'm saying that it's difficult, so it's becoming difficult. So let me think something else. Let me think how easy it will be to explain to you. Because Lucifer is one of the archangels, the seventh one, so there has to be a division. Free will being that division. Having free will is the separation, is the enmity. That free will is the thing that actually separates you from God. You do have free will. And I'll stop there and we'll examine a bit more. I truly pray I could collect my thoughts a bit better on this, but it is a simple subject for me to explain.
Yes.
It's just that we choose to put all of our stuff down, because this material shit don't mean nothing.
Cosmic Christie says, I always trigger you. You do. And you know what? But that brings up points and arguments. See, whenever I'm triggered is proof positive that I have mulled that issue over in my mind. And I am never going to say the word believe as in I believe anything anymore, because in the middle of that word is the word lie.
Yeah, I think we can.
How revealing. The confusion always reveals itself in confusion. Belief, faith, that is the thing, that is the essence of the thing that sustains you, sustains everything. And it is God. It acts with a will. It has an intelligence. And I didn't used to like to speak of these things because I didn't ever like to refer to God as it or the universe, because it is outside the bounds. Lucifer, let's take Lucifer for example. And let's say Lucifer was to have many godlike powers, omnipotence, whatever you wanted, you ask him for, you get it. Easy peasy, slick and easy, All you gotta do is ask. So say he was possessed of all these powers, and he only did all the good and the right things. And he was the light that was contrary to the shadow. We're saying we're talking only in good principles here, in good works. Angelic works. But what is the difference? What is the difference? The difference is the rebellion. It doesn't matter how good you are. The objective is to become closer to God and serve God in service, not in service to self, service before self. You do the best you can, but you don't do the best you can. You don't do good works because they're visible. God sees in secret. Let's carry on.
We can use the word trust, though, right?
Yes, because right in the middle of that is us, man.
Right.
And that's
the money system thing.
People that aren't into this sort of line of conceptual thinking are going to come across what we're saying here and say, these guys are freaking nuts. These guys are just whack jobs, and these guys are this and these guys are that. When in actuality, I think we're onto something that is just, it's been there. It's been there. Okay, now my point with what I was saying about the answer to this question we pose is in, or the answer to the question, the answer is in the question we pose. You know what I mean? So, mighty spirit of light. Now, the spirit of light would be what, people? Think about that. What is the mighty spirit? And even in the Bible, it states that. So you can't just say that.
We're getting into dangerous territory here now. Don't you see? That's why they call Lucifer the Lord of Lies. Nothing is hidden that can't be revealed. But this is why they call Lucifer the Lord of Lies. Listen how sweet and honey these words will be. In fact, my flame burns a little bit dim. I'll make sure I light another torch to illuminate the way. to exercise self-sovereignty, yet supplication, recognizing that it was not I who controlled the flame, but I do have the free will to light another. I'm fighting very hard here. I might have to try this a different way. We'll press on with courage.
That the Emerald Tablets is a New Age booklet or whatever, because it all speaks like Jesus says, through me, I am the light, I am the way, right?
Yep.
Right. In the Old Testament, I think it even says something about the light. Now, people want to knock the light because it's Luciferian. Well, Lucifer actually stands for the light bearer, an indifferent, entity that is the light. That's what it is.
He fell hard. He fell in love.
Right. It created us. I mean, the light creates us, the mechanism in which that light can exist in. Because without our eyes, it goes to the philosophy question of, if a tree falls in the forest and there's no one there to hear it, does it make a noise?
And you don't think they can pick your brain by what you...
Well, I think you get my meaning. God is boundless. God is outside of light or dark. When this man speaks of Lucifer as being an indifferent creature, he's probably kind of right about that. God is not indifferent to you. God loves you. Creation, the light, is an illusion, my friends. Life is fleeting and it's an illusion. Now you can return to it. It's clear. It's been proven. Let's carry on.
You breathe in them cell towers. They have.
Now, if you really think about that question, Jerry, really think about that question, what it says right there. If a tree falls in the forest and nobody's there to hear it, does it make a noise?
I'm going to tell you the answer to that question. Yeah, it does. You're not that freaking important. Yes, it makes a sound. Even if nobody's around to hear it, it makes a sound. Even though you can't perceive it, doesn't mean it's not there. It's not all you. The whole world is not all about you. Everybody says you're the most important person in the world at any given time. Well, in a sense, that might be true, but only from your perspective. That is a total and complete disregard for the properties of everything else that exists. So you are limited. You are a limited creature. You are a limited creature with extremely limited perceptions. So, if a tree falls in the woods and nobody's around to hear it, it'll still make a noise. If you're not around to hear it, it'll still make a noise. You just can't perceive it because you're limited. You are flesh and you are weak. Now, whether or not it makes a sound, if you can't perceive it, is it or is it not relevant? You don't really need to spend that much time on it because I don't suppose that it is relevant. The things that you can't perceive are relevant. You do want to discover the things that you can't perceive or do not yet understand. But a healthy fear of the Lord and faith are the first steps to wisdom, in my opinion. Like I say, I'm no eschatological scholar. I'm only trying to interpret as best I can. We'll carry on. I'll pour this drink. Well, I'll have a good time by the end of it, I promise. I'm already having a good time. I'm glad you've joined me. Hank McGurk, your pajama scholar, here at 3 o'clock. 3:56, actually, with another Ambient Glow radio presentation.
Now, if there's a light in the sky and nobody's there to see it, is it shining?
Yeah.
Do you get what I'm getting at there? I mean, that means that it's all in our heads,
Well,
guys.
we all see the same thing, though. Some of that you can't make up. I mean, you come to my house, we look out there in the field, it's going to stay,
Now, I want you to pay very close attention to the guy on the right. Now, he's the guy that's not saying that much, that's quiet. And there is going to come a point where he has a realization, he has an understanding that what he was taught was not incorrect. This man is the wise man, being taught by a fool. And I mean not to condemn or criticize, but it's only my perspective. And we're all fools in a sense. I mean, I don't know very much. And weaker still. So far be it from me to condemn, but this is my perception, my observation of these two individuals, and of the two, who is the wiser at the moment in this conversation. The man on the right will come to a realization you will see on his face.
I mean, just to a certain extent, because it goes right along with the history, discovery, alien things, that stuff. I mean, there's a lot of them, must be. I've looked through a few of them, but really pretty much mark on what, you're saying. It's just funny how we use that, mark my words, but don't take the mark of the beast. And, God damn it. They could catch 22. I put 2 and 2 together. It was 1.
Right. Right. Exactly. So those 4 tracks actually make the 1 track, right?
Must.
You bring those 4 together and you got the 5, and you got the 5th element, the diamond, shining in the cosmos. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are.
That was the video me and Paula had trouble of, because there was 4 people in the furnace. The Vendigo, Meshach, Haderach. But when they looked in the furnace, there was 4 people dancing in the fire.
And okay, GT Lambus says Lucifer is light of the knowledge of the world. Jesus is the everlasting light. Yes, I would.
All right, let's be careful here. That's a very important distinction. The distinction that is being made and that should be observed and completely and fully understood is that you are in the world but not of it. That's the important distinction. That's what separates Christ, in my view, and this is why I have always hesitated to venture into this territory. Because it's a study that no man can ever become an expert on. You can never speak with authority. You can never fully understand. So everything that I'm going to say is in some way going to be ignorant. There is going to be few ways, if any, hopefully there may be some piece of the construction that you will be able to glean some bit of understanding in the trial that I will endure to try and communicate clearly. The world to be in it and not of it. Now I've written here what we could speak about. Maybe that would be helpful. And I just jotted a few notes, and I haven't even really fully explored them in great detail where they can be read and understood beyond some simple notations. But it's so important because so many people are being misled into this, if I'm good, then I go to heaven. It does not work like that. I don't believe that it works like that. I don't claim to speak for God, but there is something in me, something that has awoken, something that has changed, something that I'm so certain about. I could name, what, it just doesn't matter. What my trials are or have been or will be, it doesn't matter. Because you're not me. And you don't want to follow. You don't want to do what I've done. You are who you are. And I pray that you will find your own path to God. With all seriousness, that's what really matters to me. It's not simple. It's so brilliantly, beautifully, wonderfully simple. But I don't know how I could have missed it for so long. And then to watch other people not get it, to miss it, and then to remember, hey, at one point I didn't get it either. When it's everywhere, God is everywhere, God is everything. It stares you right in the face. You're sitting in creation, you're part of it. And as clumsy as I may be, I pray that hopefully some clarity will be brought from my confusion. This actually kind of is a reflection of the difficulty and the articulation, this thought process that I've gone through fighting with this idea, this of Lucifer, of an extreme example of only good in the world being still a deceitful and confusing practice. It's tough. It's tough to really fully wrap your mind around that one, and it's also really tough to not take pride in the things that you do. It's hard to love yourself but not be in love with yourself. It's hard to love a difficult world, love is such a confusing and difficult thing. And so love must be turned over to God. You must love God and feel God's love in return, and then it will make sense. Now, Lucifer was fallen over pride. Pride comes before the fall, and we see it all the time. You're on a hot streak, and then all of a sudden you're on the street. You are not Christ, you are not God, nor do you want to be. You strive to be in service to God, and you have a full recognition and faith in God because there are so many things that you're not going to be able to perceive, understand, comprehend, learn, endure. There's so much that the solution is to turn it over to God, to give it away. And only through prayer can you turn over your sin to God. And this is why I love Jesus Christ. Because Jesus Christ shows you the way. To be perfect and still to be God, man, in the flesh, doing everything perfect, still being persecuted, and praise for the people that crucify him. Oh Lord, they know not what they do. Forgive them, please. And so, when I fail, as I do all the time, because I am but a man, flesh and weak, pray, please forgive me for my weaknesses. I will endeavor to be as strong as I can, and in that struggle, it's like a blade being forged in the heat of the fire. Tempered steel, because you're striving for excellence. You're striving for the perfect edge. The morality. You're going to fail in it all the time, but you're striving to get there so you become more and more pure. You're never going to be perfect, but you're striving for perfection. There can always be some failing found somewhere. Let's move on with this piece.
I would agree with that because Jesus, in my opinion, is you, is me. We can all become like Jesus the Christ. We can all become Steve the Christ, Jerry the
Good luck with that. I don't think you want to do that. Jesus died for your sins, so you don't have to take that way out. What you have to do, what you must do, is recognize the sacrifice that God made for you, so you don't have to make that sacrifice. You have to fully embrace and understand. You're not Jerry the Christ. You do your best to follow the way, to carefully observe and listen. when God speaks, and to take the lessons that Christ teaches us and follow and ask for forgiveness when we fail. Do the best that we can. But you're not Jerry the Christ. I have prayed. Please don't make me make that sacrifice. Jesus shows you that if you're gonna get your seat at the table in heaven, you go all the way. You go absolutely all the way. But I pray that Jesus' sacrifice was enough. That's what God came here in the flesh to do, to show you. So you don't have to do that, and you can still be forgiven. You can still feel the presence of God. You can still be in the presence of God even though you are weak and failing. Lucifer's pride, the most insidious of all sins, probably the easiest temptation to succumb to. Pride. Continue on.
The Christ.
Yeah.
G.T. Lambeth the Christ.
I think we'll get our eyes.
With that, I mean that the everlasting life. Okay, now in the Emerald Tablets, it also says one must be incarnate in the Ba to ascend for the Ka to be present, or something like that, to that effect. That means that's the same statement as you have to die before you die, so when you die, you don't die.
Yeah. It's better to make it to heaven without an eye,
Yeah.
Better to make it to heaven without an eye. Now, this is interesting. Odin only had one eye. You pluck it out for wisdom. Is the third eye really only one?
History, it's better to have it cut out.
And even there is a statement that, okay, so even the fear of death has steered us away from what the true purpose of our existence is here. Because we fear death so much that we think when we die, we're going to Valhalla or to heaven, just simply because we die and we were good.
We set up the fall, yeah, for sure. It's all in reverse, all backwards,
Now the curveball is right. The curveball is that, okay, so if you think like that, and if you have faith just in case your whole life that there is a God, and you're gonna say that admit it or whatever. You're not gonna be agnostic or an atheist or whatever. But
now, I'm sorry to keep pausing this, but it's going to be very important to watch the man on the right, because you will see when the moment of wisdom is revealed.
You're going to live your life in a self.
Yeah.
I'm glad you're here. We all know it. We all show it. We all fear we don't have to grow it because it's already there. It's flipped vertically or horizontally, but not vertically. Right.
I've been asking that question since I sent you that picture of my guitar upside down.
See, right now when I'm sitting here looking at this, I think my light is on this side of me.
You're saying it's just funny how we use that. Mark my words.
People do.
I was just talking about that. Hey, if you got something to say, we don't kick you out. Just don't be
right.
completely rude, because we want to hear your side too.
Right. There's only a God for living, for the living, not the dead. Yeah, very true. Because we never die anyway, in my opinion. You know, I mean, you, me, we are like a radio that is tuned into the spirit station.
My
You know, I
bond,
mean,
still I run Metallica.
yeah, there you go. Perfect. Perfect. There is, yes, and I am God, Geo Orbit Dome. Nice. Very good. That was a good one, Michigan. I like that one. The future is inside you. It is nowhere else. We are of the earth. To her, we do return.
That's
Oh, we do return to the earth. Our physical.
About that channel, dude, and they do the figure 8, go, discover, go, discover, go.
Oh, yeah.
The symbol, the broken 8. That's why the, what is it, the cancer symbol. Look at it, it's the cut ribbon. They don't have the extra turn.
Max brings up I think it was when I was talking about the words Mesa, Messiah, Christ, Christos. You know,
Right.
Dog gone. That Gerald Yates says, death is an illusion. Then you will receive the Christ inside. Yes, yes. Rise up with Risey. DMT. DMT is a controversial thing where I think that's the stuff that's in ayahuasca, right?
Yeah,
is that the same?
Inside you naturally too, I believe.
Yeah. I was told I am, but I mean, DMT is a controversial thing, and I don't think I'd ever try it. Yeah, I would. Yeah, I would. Is that because I've tried every other thing? I might as well try that. You know.
I told you, naked, not afraid.
Right. I'm not afraid. I ain't scared of nothing. I ain't scared of nothing, even if it means, it's like recently I've been looking into getting an ultralight airplane. I want to fly. Yeah. And that was another question I posed to that pilot. I want to buy an ultralight. What do you think? He says, "Are you effing stupid?"
Fly over the beach.
Yeah. Oh, I'd love to. That's why I did that in that helicopter.
Well, if you had to crash, you'd at least hit water.
Right. You can't receive Christ after death unless you accept him while alive. Very true. But I think you have to make the coupling or the understanding, and you have to do the ascension to effectively become an angel. And it's no coincidence that angel is the same as angle. So you're another angle of light. You know what I mean?
The right angle.
The right angle. Yeah, there you go. There's another one. That's awesome, dude. That's awesome, brother. I love that. And yes, I have my light, and why is that? Why is that everything's flipped vertically or horizontally, but not vertically? Right?
I've been asking that question since I sent you that picture of my guitar upside down.
See, right now when I'm sitting here looking at this, I think my light is on this side of me. The mirror effect. Mirror on the wall. Who's the fairest of them all?
Can you
Hey, hold that up. Hold that up there. No, don't get it so I can see my image again. Nope, I can't see it. Turn it. The other way.
What a joy it is. The hall of many mirrors. The carousel I think we were speaking of earlier tonight. These are the reflections. Oh, my goodness, it's exhausting. I'll try, perhaps again, but I'm going to carry this on as long as I care to. And frankly, you know what? If you want to stick around. I might have an epiphany, I might not. It took a long time to get to the epiphany that I got to, and it's a little difficult to summon that back again, because it's like, you get it, and then you forget it. You understand it, and then you're like, oh, I didn't get it down. Not perfect. But maybe it'll come, maybe it won't. We're just going to keep on carrying on, getting on with it, getting on.
Keep going. Whoa. Back up a little bit. No, I can't see nothing. Yeah. But anyway, it's not focused right now for some reason. It's just... No, you're trying to turn it upside. That's why.
Yeah.
Rainbow likes that. To become an angel, you must embody the power and know you are.
Well, I think it goes back to that crazy train. There's Adam and Eve, this rail, that rail, what we've talked about the train. What I mean? The energy within.
Today's the High Witch holiday. Seth Ominous 777 says.
See, do you know these people?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, these people have been around. And these people are...
Ah, you know these people. The man on the right is what we would call an inquisitor. People keep the faith. Wise men keep the faith. And I can tell, I know wisdom when I see it. And it here today is on the right side of the screen.
this is a face on Facebook. You know, you got Facebook and you got our avatars, and avatars speak for what kind of person you are.
No, sorry, I wasn't laughing at you, Jerry. I was laughing at Cindy. She was telling me that there's an airport by her house. I could be there in 20 minutes. The ultralights only fly 45 miles an hour, right? They're pretty slow. But I mean, as the crows fly, is a lot closer probably than driving a car, I suppose.
Step around here, yeah.
Hey, what's up, Milky? Brian's in his house. How are you doing, bud? It is in the consciousness. We have to see the deception so it collapses. Yes. Hi, Trina. How are you?
We will win.
Nancy, what's up? We're talking about the light and what the light is to us, and is the light what? Okay, to me, the light is the ultimate phallic symbol, the ultimate phallus. The light is what inseminates the dark with its grandeur or its.
What a dick.
Luminosity or its luminescence. So I think it's the ultimate yin and yang is the light and the dark. Without the darkness, which we create, we are in our minds and our consciousness is the abyss of the Bible.
Black and blue.
That's the abyss. Is our mind. Is our
If you look at the old thing, remember how little things went when you lost your channel? It's all black and white, and we're just computers. Yeah.
No, I was watching. Phil had a post on his Facebook page about scalar waves and tensors. Right. And I've heard him say them two words before, and I never really looked into them, but this time I did. I looked into them. And scalars, now check this out. Scalar waves, think about it. What do? We weigh things with a scale, okay?
Yeah. That's why I say there's one on each side of zero.
Plus, we also compare things with a scale. We put it in a comparison scale, right? And scalar waves, the scales are like a ladder, or a progression, or different stages. So then, therefore, that would be how the ineffable or the non-dimensional or omnipresent could be in itself multidimensional all at the same time. So it's timeless and time at the same.
Is there any need for that much nonsense? Scientism. Alchemists. Ugh. Pish, posh, and hogwash.
Same time. That's where the scalar comes in. Now, the tensor is like a muscle or a sinew. It's like a push-pull effect. Ebb and flow. You know what I mean? That's what a tensor is. So that's pretty much essentially what our physics in our realm is about, is scalar tensors. The push and pull of the scalar potential, or the yin and the yang. Well, and that's what the light in the dark is essentially, is the macro of the scalar. Or no, I don't know if it'd probably be the micro compared to the chaos of the microwave background. That's what I think the microwave background is all that noise, is the potential, the chaos, the unmanifest or undefined waters.
Plus, I've also said about the MasterCard, the push and the pull, and you're in the pool in the middle. I think till we get them eyes, we won't, have where there's no darkness, no more. Won't be no need for the sun, because our it'll fix that problem with our eyes seeing upside down.
Nice. Yeah, right. And then Paula says, Libra, scalar. Nice. I love that. Christ is described as.
The man on the left didn't even hear the wise words the man on the right spoke. He told you the truth. The man on the left was more observed, not in the conversation he was having with the wise man, but the multiple conversations he was having on the side.
The word. Yes, but I mean, the Christ means that it's the mind at rest or equilibrium, right? I think that's what the Christ consciousness really is.
Or something where how you're a receiver, you receive in that tone, so it makes that song. It takes three parts,
Yes, and free press brings up a good point. It says if you divide, it's duality. Now, but I don't know if you mean anything negative by that, or whether or not it was either. I don't know what you mean by that, but I think.
Holy Christmas. I need an interlude. Even playing this at double speed gives me a headache. So I apologize. And we're going to have an interlude, because it's just time for an interlude. It's too freaking heavy. And it just There's nothing there. How about, let's try... I'm kind of a fan of, let's see. What have we here? Let's just go with something a bit more classic. And, you know, we'll try, let's see. I don't know. How about, let's go with, Chopin. That'll help. Forgive my indulgence. When I've been programming and working on, the Fallout stuff to try and develop the ultimate survival immersion experience, my brain is working in a different way. It's not inside of the humanities. It's inside of programming and scripts and tagging, and it's just a totally different mindset, and it's very difficult for me to change the way that I'm thinking so I can communicate more easily, because I'm communicating in a different way. I'm thinking in a different language. I'm thinking in a different syntax in order to organize my thoughts, and your mind becomes accustomed to organizing your thoughts in this mechanical way when you're programming. So you just have to forgive me, because I'm trying to work my way through kind of a painful process. And if I'm displeased with the work, I'm displeased with the work. I'll just delete it and move on and try again later. C'est la vie. C'est la vie. All right. Gosh, these guys, I don't want to have to go through the whole thing all over again to find where this one particular piece of enlightenment was, and I may have missed it because I've got to fiddling around and I accidentally hit the movement button, or speed forward stuff. So I don't know. I'm gonna take a moment to think. It's been Hank. I'll catch you on the flip side.